What is up, dudes?
What is up, anybody?
Right, I think we already got some of the dudes in chat. Said we
All
have three
going,
people
I
watching.
thought it was starting at 7. Hey, I did too.
Yeah, right. Always getting caught up talking about silly stuff. I was thinking about trying to sketch out some of that monster stuff, but I also need to come up with this fantasy design. I like the idea of doing something that looked like weirdly like wooden and organic. Not necessarily like an ent, but like something just weird and cool. I don't know though. I'm not a fantasy guy. Jeff would be really useful for that, but who fucking knows with him? I could just make like some sort of gnarly faux fur coat for the hero and everything and go like really simple, like Conan, like you're not gonna see most of this fucking dude. What is up, Silver Ogre? What's up, Razmaz?
What's
Colin?
up, everybody?
Good to see you, dudes. I don't know if Jeff's back tonight either. He said he was going to most likely be back on the 27th, but who knows what fucking time that meant.
And Florida, who knows when their 27th is? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know much about those people.
Are you a fan of giant stompy robots? Yeah, that's not going to make any fucking sense in the weird surrealist fantasy Jeff wants me to make.
Plus, that's Hammerella's territory now. I don't want anyone else I know dealing with giant stompy robots except Frankie B.
Away.
Frankie B can.
Those are my giant stompy robots.
Yeah. Frankie B's grandfathered in to always do whatever he wants.
Yeah. You just say Frankie B is Frankie B, because Frankie B is the fucking man.
And wait, are these, maybe this is different. Maybe these are robots that stomp giants. They're giant stomping robots.
Yeah, but they're actually really tiny.
Yeah, they're like,
we can stomp them out over long periods of time.
We just gotta work hard and stay at it, guys.
Yeah. So definitely got some conceptualizing to do. There is always the easy. I feel like for the fantasy one, we should get someone smaller to play the hero, and I be whatever the fuck I come up with for the villain. But I'll have to like hide my beard and hair or whatever.
Like you're starting to talk like a pirate. You're like, and I be too tall to play that role.
Well, I think it would be cool to do it that way, because then even if like I'm like hunched over or whatever for the character, I look like substantially larger, and we can shoot it in cool ways where it looks ridiculous. Me and Kevin did character design Kevin mostly did it, but I like came up with the idea.
I kept telling him what to do.
I think we called it like the Corpse Eater, and he was just like this gross, veiny, like fleshy, like fiend creature, but it was supposed to be like 20 feet tall. If we could somehow fudge that would be really fucking cool.
Corpse Eater. Keep your corpses buried, ladies.
Yeah, it was really gross. I don't know if he would still have the sketch or anything of that. It was basically like a big butt naked, like bulbous, glistening mutant ghoul thing. It had like no lips. That's the other thing with all of this stuff. Since I don't really want to do any CGI or anything, I'm trying to figure out ways to do like eyes and stuff. So it's like, what if I back paint things and make like an orb, and then I do something for the iris and float it in water? So like this thing's eyes just sort of float around and look wonky as fuck while it's looking around. Which I think would almost be hilarious. But I can figure something out.
Because you don't want it to be too goofy. I guess it depends on if you want it to be sort of have a B movie vibe, you know, where
Yeah,
while
right.
the creepy thing's happening, you want people laughing as well.
Well, not with the search party one. That would just be ridiculous. This thing eats children, but look how hilarious! It's all derpy,
Womp womp.
looking in 3 different directions.
But if you back painted something, even just like a silver or a chrome on the back of an orb, like a clear orb, like that would
That's
look
what I
really
was
killer
thinking.
and
You
really
do
spooky.
like the mirror trick or whatever like that with an orb where
Yeah.
it's sort of always like a lenticular. It looks like it's sort of always looking at you wherever the light's hitting it. That would probably honestly work best for what we're trying to do too. And then you just pop in contacts or whatever for the actor's actual eyes if those are showing. If those aren't showing, it's a little bit easier to do something. Maybe like a mushroom monster or something would be cool. Like a fantasy fungus creature, sort of like the monsters in the Last of Us before that went off the deep end.
You could have a shit creature that the mushrooms are growing in.
Yeah,
the mushrooms have brought intelligence to this.
Yeah, our hero comes upon a giant mound of fucking magical shit that's spawned a sentient mushroom monster. That just sounds like a Lloyd Kaufman trauma movie.
And he tries to get everyone to eat the mushrooms off of him. He's like, "Come on!" And then you trip out until your head explodes.
Why I can't remember. Clickers and stuff. Yeah. So I know you're not like a gamer or anything like that, but I know you're not one of them Game Boys, but The Last of Us.
I still like the language though.
Yeah. I know it was hard to like even avoid anything about the second one that just came out a little while ago, but these fucking guys, it'd be cool to do something sort of fantasy like this. And do it like all eyeless. Like, he can't fucking see our hero, but he has to sword fight him. Bearded ass me all done up like that, looking crazy. Do the juggernauts, I'll be a big fat boy. Yeah, I really want to do something like this and just make it really gross, because like you make the silicone or whatever, punch in all sorts of effects. This could be really fucking gnarly. Flock some grass and stuff onto it, like it's just being like reclaimed by the forest. Yeah, the clickers are great looking. I love that too, like the cleft palate. The teeth are still there.
Cleft palates are creepy.
Yeah, these are cool as fuck.
I'm being quiet and typing all these answers into the chat. I should just be talking to people.
Yeah, right, you animal. What is up, Rex Doom? Welcome. Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant. What is up? Welcome. Allow me to subscribe and introduce myself. I'm Pops, and you guys are live in the madness. Oh, why? Thank you, Pops. You'll be right at home here.
Yeah, no, Pops is awesome. He does a thing called CromCon every month, where he does. You sign up and you get highlighted on his YouTube and Facebook, and I think it might Twitch on to stream. I'm not sure. But Marv invited me on one week, and we got to promote our book, and it was a really good time. And yeah, Pops is an awesome dude. So thanks for stopping by, Pops. Right,
I'm too brain damaged. I'm like jealous every time you start talking about it. I'm like, I wish I could remember all of these things. I'm serious. I need to like get like a fucking another board to like put up and start putting down like all of the YouTube shows and stuff I need to check out.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I called him Doc once while he had me on his show. So there was that nice moment of forgetful disrespect that came out of my mouth instead of Pops. So if that
Mushroom
makes you
guy?
if that makes you feel any better. Ooh, mushroom guy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sort of like you can't really do anything wrong with it, so we can kind of come up with our own design. I like the idea, like incorporating the skull in the bottom part of it. And of course, doing our own like fantasy version of it. It wouldn't just be like regular everyday people walking around in my hipster tank top. The second one had like a fucking wacky big monster in it too. I think it's called the Abomination. It's like a
I
rat.
dropped a. I was just saying, I dropped a link for Pop's Twitter in the chat. If you guys want to give Pops a follow, go ahead.
Perfect.
Do it. Sorry, Abomination, second movie. Go with it.
The second game has this thing in it. I think it was referred to as the Abomination. Is like a clicker rat king. If you're familiar with those, it's just like a knot
I know what a
of
rat
rats.
king is. Yeah. Sorry, finish saying it for the anyone listening.
Yeah, it's just basically like a giant knot of rats. They all get entangled and turn into like a fucking mess. Yeah. I think it's like the infected abomination or something. This is it.
Rex Doom said it was called Abby. The abomination was called Abby. Yeah. I don't know if he's joking.
Yeah, that's the jacked chick that they based her on an actual CrossFit model who's like not a bad looking chick, and she is built and everything, but they like definitely changed dimensions on her and tweaked her face and all this stuff, and it like put it into this hideous uncanny valley that was just so weird, and the character is miserable. So it effectively like bombed the game with fans, but critics praised it. Like it just won like all the game awards and shit. Something like this would be cool though. Just do some sort of weird fucking abomination that makes no sense. We'll get 2 actors to play it. It'll have 2 sets of legs, but they'll be connected, and it'll be a motherfucker to put it together and coordinate. That'd be hilarious.
I know a lot of people didn't like the movie, but I liked the creature designs they did and the effects they did. That movie with Jennifer Jason Leigh, and they like go into the trippy forest, like things are starting to trip out all crazy because of some alien life form, and it has what's her name that played Padme in it?
Oh, are you talking about Annihilation?
Yeah. I liked sort of their like mashups of creatures they did in that, and I liked the way they did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, that's again that like weird body horror, and they did the whole it's sort of the same thing, the like nature reclaiming things. But it's like parts of the body are still living, parts of them are like in the death cycle, and other parts are like reclaimed by nature.
Yeah.
It's sort of this
like
weird like spectrum. Exactly.
Yeah.
I always really like that. That's why I really like this. That's one of the best things about Last of Us is that weird, like, they're still eerily like human and familiar. And then they got all this mushroom shit growing on them. Like the infected that are basically just people covered in blood, and they're like starting to spore and shit like that. But then the clickers with the full on like fucking mushroom like polyps or whatever you want to call them are gnarly. Another good one just for inspiration is I know we talk about them all the time, but Dead Space.
Dead Space, and people are saying Soul Sacrifice is something to look at. Awesome monster designs. Check out the slime from Soul Sacrifice.
The Dead Space necromorphs are just like thing stuff to the max.
That's a cool name, necromorphs. It get gets used so often that I always think it's like an overused word, but that's a cool cool way to use it.
Yeah. Almost doing something like this though, like a body horror night or something. Like it's like John Carpenter's The Thing crash landed in medieval times. That could be cool as fuck. Yeah.
All right, everybody. I did drop the clickable link for the Facebook event for CromCon. CromCon 10 coming up. Go check it out.
Oh God, Carl's back. This bastard.
Yeah, I forgot we were live too. I thought we were still just chilling.
What was the other one they wanted us to look at? Soul something?
Soul
porno.
Sacrifice.
It's like, this isn't some porno from Colin.
No, Soul Sacrifice. They said there's some cool monster designs. I think that was the only one they were talking about.
Oh yeah, that's some wacky shit.
Hey, what's up, Simon and Seven?
What's up, Simon?
Hail, O you girthed ones. Yes, hail to you as well.
Super Japanese. We got some concept art for this anywhere? Almost Lovecraftian in a way.
Kevin says the stalkers from the last of, does he mean the Last of Us 2? The Last of 2 were solid.
Yeah, the Last of Us 2. The stalkers, which ones were those?
Hell if I know.
Oh, these fuckers. Yeah, something like... I really do like that, like, mushroom look and, like, shit growing off of it. Basically, the idea is, can we do, like, a Bloodborne Dark Souls-esque, short film as well? I'm sure you're probably not familiar with this either, Ryan, but...
I don't know what anything is. Don't you know that by now?
This shit rips.
I'm just, according to Razmaz and Rexdoom, I'm just a sassy black woman on the channel.
Yeah, perfect. Everybody
Ain't
needs
nobody
one.
got time for that.
No, not trying to drag and... Oh, god damn it. Google's got all this weird shit now.
Simon says Peter just dropped a new video. I assume Peter Samedi says it's a replay actually, but I'm glad to see the notification worked. Hey, notifications don't work for me for anything.
Yeah, right. Fucking nothing works. Yeah, Bloodborne monsters.
What's up, Edwin? Thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna drop a link for Edwin's project, the Ace, which is coming up. I think they launched the end of the month or something.
Yeah, Ryan, have you ever heard of this little book called The Bible? What's up, Edwin?
All right, I'll get a link for that in here. You can sign up for the mailing list. A young man looks for purpose, discovers the remains of a shooting star, changing his life forever.
Gotta love it.
But yeah, sign up for the mailing list for the Ace here. While Spencer is hunting on the internet.
Hunting for inspiration. We got the 24-hour comic coming up on Friday too. The start of it.
Yeah, I think I've got most of my stuff paced out, but then I realized I don't have to have the whole story done by Friday. I just have at least I have my ending in mind, so that's fine. That's all I have to work towards. So then I was like, all right, I'll get the first part worked out, and then in between the first and the second part, I'll get the second and the third part worked out.
Yes, work your way backwards.
because it snuck up. This month has gone by really fast.
Yeah, right. I'm so underprepared, just like I said I would be. It's
And
like I'm gonna try to prepare a bunch. Didn't work.
yeah, I saw Mitch is ready. Mitch is like 6 pages into writing. I don't know if he's writing or drawing or writing and drawing or what his deal is. I know
Hell
Colin's getting ready. Says here he's got his worked out. I think William C is doing something. I don't know if Pedrino's doing something. I don't know who all's doing anything. I know everybody's been talking about it though. Yeah, let us know in the chat if you're working on
more
something.
prepared than all of us, which is excellent. Ace mailing list. I got mine worked out. Sadly, Colin, he didn't recall, but he told me he was almost sure. So yeah, heavy metal incarnation. He claims he did check on his 2080. I don't know what that's all about. I can't keep up. I am now putting pencil to paper to board out my panels. Hope that helps somehow. Yeah, you guys in your own conversation. That's great, but I can't track it because I'm an idiot. Was elsewhere.
Well, Phoenix is responding. He says he's going to do some writing and rough sketch work because he's mostly a writer. Brandon Flynn of Galden, and yeah, so he was doing that the manga that we were looking at last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he'll be chiming in a little. I know he just got an iPad. I'm gonna talk to my homie Marv V of Sin Killer, the guy who introduced me to Pops, because he might want to join in. He just got an iPad for Christmas, and he wants to start producing quick comics, and this might be a fun thing for him to participate in. So I'm gonna start hitting people up on Instagram and things like that.
Yeah, that's great because we're gonna do the little wash giveaway for the artists, and then a copy of the Bendis book for the writers.
We need to produce an image, and by we I mean you.
Yeah,
need to produce an image
flyer.
Yeah, basically, yeah, with all the info, and we basically know all the questions people ask about it now, so we can just put it all on there.
Yeah, get that up before Friday. Let's throw a picture of Mike Tyson on it, so everybody knows we're serious.
That's right.
Number one contender, Spinal. That's the how I remember a word said all the time. I think it was you that said that before, where you hear one word said a certain way and you like have to say it that way all the time. The Mike Tyson spinal.
China.
I broke my back. What do you mean spinal?
Yeah, there's it's either like I was either talking about there's things like that I'll hear in a movie and it'll just stick with me, or there's a word I say right or somebody's name and I'll hear somebody say it wrong, and then when I go to meet them or talk to them, I say it in the wrong way. Like, damn it.
Yeah, my back is broken. the guy interviewing him was like, "What do you mean?" He's spinal. It's fucking excellent. He was such an excellent madman in his day. And then he got out and was so humble after that fight a couple weeks ago. I was like, God damn it. I wanted him to come out and rip someone's head off, and he's just like, hey, it was a good fight. It's like, no.
Yeah. So it's a nice sparring match.
Dude, I'll just do a guy whose armor is made of organs and shit.
Colin says a former workmate of his started with doing it on canvas until it clicked that she would need to paint 10 canvases for the 24-hour comic. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. It always sounds fun. You're like, oh, I'm going to paint this or I'm going to do that. And then once you really start to think how much work it's going to take, you'll rethink it.
This feels like a shot at me. Silence.
Wait, who? Sorry, I was looking for a shot at you.
Because I'm painting mine.
Oh, I forgot you were painting yours. I was looking through the chat. I'm like, who took a shot at Spencer? Who was cool enough to take a shot at Spencer? Turns out it was me.
I don't even notice anymore. I'm just popping them off.
Yeah, just kapow, kapow. Oh, sorry.
Dance
Um,
monkey.
no, but I'm sure, like by canvas, I'm sure they were talking at least, like a 16 by 20 canvas or something like that.
Yeah, fuck that. Who paints anymore?
I might digitally color mine, but I'm not gonna make any color promises until I see how I get through like the first 3 chapters, basically.
Oh yeah, my whole thing is like, if I plan properly, what can I get done penciling wise in that first 3 hours? Will really set the bar for the overall experience. How manic I'm going to be for the other 7 parts.
Yeah, I've pulled out a couple Paul Pope books, and not that he rushes his work. He takes a long time, but I was looking at his sort of his quick
just
inks,
rocks.
because his ink works he does rapid, and I wanted to see if there was something I could sort of draw from that, because it's gonna have to be looser than my normal work, but I want it to still have some sort of like cool stylistic like flair to the line work, even if it's by that I don't mean like clean line. I mean, whatever it is, I want it to have some kind of just a cool edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got the entire story worked out. There's just certain beats that I'm not really afraid of, like I said before, shooting from the hip on some of it. I was gonna go in blind, but then Kevin spooked me. He was like, I don't know, man. This seems like something you should plan out a little bit. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then we get off the stream, and I'm like, all I could hear is his voice in the back of my head being like,
Damn
I don't know,
you.
man. Maybe this is something we should plan out a little bit. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to plan it out a little bit. And leave some of the like, oh, what's this punch effect going to be like? I can figure that stuff out live if I have to sometimes. But I did figure out like all the story points, the story arc, all that stuff. So I am ready. Giant
That's
fight
good.
scene.
The important stuff.
Yeah, King Fu coming at you. And yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about it. And it's coming at a good time where I'm in the middle of drawing, or not in the middle. I'm almost in the middle of drawing Hammerella, and I'm really starting to get a drawing groove back that I haven't had in years.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's and I know it's always attainable. I know I always can get back to it, but it always takes me so long. So from now on, since my comic goals have changed and my career paths have sort of changed, I think I'm just gonna keep consistently drawing. I'll probably have the 1 book a year that I'll draw, and then maybe some short stories here and there. But I'm gonna try to keep it up, because I'm not inking for a day job anymore, so I won't get lost in deadline, and I won't get lost doing other people's projects for 6 months to a year at a time, and then be like, okay, I want to start drawing again, and then it's like, crap, it feels like I got to start all over again.
Just my dumb project. That's also your dumb project.
Oh, that's okay. I wouldn't be hanging around your dumb project if I didn't want something to do with it.
Good.
By that I mean I assume you mean. Oh wait, I can't tell what you mean, because you have 20,000 projects going on, and I'm attached to at least a couple of them.
Yeah, it's funny to be like, here's the roadmap, guys.
I can't even talk to like my wife about it anymore. I'm like, oh, so tonight on the stream we talked about this. It's just like, wait, which project's that? Wait, how's that? Wait, what's that? And then it always ends with, and how'd that help you get Hammerella done? I'm like, crap. Okay, you're right, to work.
It's laying the bricks for the future, girl.
Count Pagan, which is Kevin, says he heard Spencer was doing 100 paintings.
Yeah, I just saw that. Jesus.
Rex Doom says it's an interesting thought, but my comic idea is a comic fetus at the moment. We'll water that fetus.
Yeah, one
Put
day
that fetus in the dirt and water it.
A comic boy.
Oh, Kevin also says that if Spencer says any different, he's lying. Oh no. Are
Oh
you
no.
lying, Spencer?
I guess so, if I say any different.
And we got Simon 7. He's singing. Simon is singing. I'm back in the drawing groove.
Singing 7.
And yeah, Colin says, unless someone offers you a boatload of cash. Well, but see, there's no one's ever doing that. So we'll have that conversation when that boat arrives.
Yeah.
And then, wow, Simmons says, now picture Ryan on Gene Simmons pumps and face makeup. No, let's not do that.
Let's not.
I'm older and more experienced than you guys. Take my advice on this.
Yeah.
Do not picture such things.
Cherish your eyesight.
Simmons says that's a homunculus. Wait, were we talking about something? That's I know what a homunculus is, but what were we?
Homunculus.
Or is that just me, me and Gene Simmons makeup would look like a homunculus somehow? A half,
yeah, that
half animal, half man thing. Oh, watering the fetus. Sorry, Razmat's talking about putting the fetus in the dirt and watering it. Yeah, that's exactly homunculus.
There's a guy on Twitter that I follow. I can't remember his name right now. He's like a concept artist who does like crustaceous satanic monster people, like cultists that are crossed with like shrimp and shit, and it's so gnarly. And I can't remember his name right now, but he does great work.
It just sounds like Mike Mignola stuff. You're like, are you looking at Hellboy?
Way more detailed though, because he's in like the concept art scene. So they're like just crazy fucking rendered digital paintings all the time. It's kind of got like a Bloodborne vibe to it, but more crustaceous. I like the idea of doing something gross and weird though.
Rex Doom says, I may work on that comic, which came out of the cyberpunk drawing I did for the Geronimo Draws stream. Going into it only half knowing what the fuck I'm doing. LOL. Yeah, well, don't worry about that either, because again, we're not grading you. This is just about the fun of doing it. Just like with my Inkalongs and stuff like that, it's more about like, hey, join in and have fun. Don't be afraid to join in because someone's going to judge you. Like we're here to have fun creating. So join in, and we'll be talking about story process as we're doing it. So if you get stuck somewhere, ask a question. I'm sure one of us will be able to one or two of us combined will be able to come up with a cohesive and coherent answer for you.
You think?
And now they're having fun with the riffing on the homunculus idea. Rex Doom quotes, "This is my son, raised on the strongest horse piss in the country."
A virile boy. Oh man, something like that would be cool as fuck. Just like an orb floating above his head. Weird as shit and just makes no sense. Watch, I'm gonna put all this effort into Camp Rainbow, and then we're gonna do the throwaway fantasy thing, and that's gonna be the thing that's the hit.
Oh, of course. No, and by then you'll hate the fantasy thing. So you'll be like, oh, I don't even want to do this anymore. And then it'll be the thing that everyone's like, we want you to do that. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll be tapped to fucking direct the next Conan movie. Just like, how did I get here?
You're all, but this time Conan's a young female.
Yeah.
You're like, so Red Sonja? They're like, no, what's that?
Yeah. Yeah, you mean black chick? Yeah. We're not allowed gingers anymore. It's Black Sonja now. No, I'd actually be totally cool. I bet you I could write a fucking gnarly female-led fantasy movie. Black Sonja'd be a little on the nose, but They're just like, this has got to be copyright infringement.
I am writing an awesome female-led fantasy story right now, and it
I've
has nothing to
never heard of it.
nothing to do with her being a female. Which is funny
That's
because
normally the best.
people so don't expect that. Like, so when I started doing the rounds on shows and was like talking with people I didn't know, I would go into my sarcastic pitch, kind of like, oh yeah, and then she's going to learn how to cook, and we got a scene with microwave meals and this or that, and like everyone gets quiet, and I could tell they think I'm being honest. I'm like, oh no, you guys, I'm kidding.
I'm
And they're
an
like,
idiot.
oh, phew, oh god, we were like, oh my gosh. I was like, no, who would pitch that? And then you're like, oh wait, that's really what goes on in modern major big two comics these days. Sorry, didn't mean for this to scare everybody, but no, Hammerella is just going to be fighting things, smashing things, and running for her life when she's not able to smash things. So
sorry
there's
for
no cooking.
the bad joke when that's actually going on in a lot of weird comics.
Colin Swinburne says, Spencer, stop using your dyslexia to hide your racism. Saying ginger.
Whoa. Wow.
It's quite a claim, Colin. It's quite a claim. Speaking of colors, Colin doesn't plan on coloring his comic, but there is one panel that I need to color to sell what's going on. Again, dude, you make the rules. I mean, we're setting up the guidelines for the event, but you make the rules on what you want to do for your art. Plus, I think that's cool. Like, that'll make that moment either more dramatic or, it'll enhance it in one way or the other. So yeah, go for it, dude.
I like the idea of this thing sort of in a cloak, but do I do like multiple limbs on strings or something connected to the main ones?
That's it's easy, but you'd mostly have to shoot that so it didn't look cheesy. You'd have to shoot it so the second pair of arms is kind of always bouncing off bottom of scrame, like,
Well,
so you're
yeah,
not
no, it'd be
really
shot smartly. That's the whole thing. Is just be like movement for the wide shot, and we'd have to shoot multiple takes of it and cut it at the right time and stuff like that. Maybe just do like multiple creature designs. Who knows?
Now everyone's talking about it in the chat. It is true that Hollywood, they're always replacing the gingers and everything. And my friends even did a musical years ago, like a comedy musical. It's actually really funny. Those two words don't sound like it would be something funny, but they did and it was about redheads dying off because I guess some hair institute did a study, and they basically redheads are going to be gone in about 100 years. They're going to be kind of washed out of the population.
Oh no!
So the play was about this secret militant group of redheads that is going around trying to encourage everyone to fuck redheads to produce more redhead children. So it was actually pretty funny.
Magic.
But then it's based on this weird thing that you're like, oh, your type of person is going to disappear in 100 years. You're like, oh,
this is weird to hear out loud.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, singing funny songs about it.
Trying to suss out ideas here. Kevin would be super helpful with this, but he's at work all night like a madman. I like the idea of a mask or something like this. Be weird if the mask comes off and we do some sort of cordyceps-like monster.
I don't know, multiple arms. I think it's got to be something like the second set of arms is smaller or something too.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that'd be like a secondary monster. If anything, that's just something that'll be like a quick shot, and we see it like stand up and the arms like move for a moment, but. I just like the idea of something that just sells the this isn't a person in here effect if you do it right.
Yeah. And I think you'll have more fun with the design, varying the limbs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the
would
idea. Is
look
like,
less like, if there's strings pulling those, it'll look less like strings if it's not the same type of arm. Like womp 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 womp.
oh, I think I just got a cool fucking idea, Ryan.
Sketch it out, and I will read what
Uh,
Simonon says here. He says that his dad was a ginger, and he is not, but he inherited the freckles. Well, that's how
oh
they're gonna
yeah,
find you.
I
So
got
that's
my
how they're gonna find
mom's.
you.
Yeah, I got my mom's ginger freckles. I know that game.
Yeah, everyone in my family, we've got like, we're a mix of a billion things, but we're like mostly Welsh and then southwestern native. So like my sister looks like a little Navajo baby, and then my cousin is this pale redhead freckle kid, and it's the exact same grandparents, like like two parents that came from the same thing. And even I look way more Welsh. My brother looks kind of like a decent mix of like Mexican and Welsh, but my sister's just seriously like this little Navajo baby. And then I just look English or Welsh. I just look as white as possible. All the same parents.
I love how disappointed all you guys sound. I just look so white. Kevin says the same thing to me all the time. So my Mexican friends don't think I'm Mexican enough. My white friends don't think I'm white enough. I was like, I've never said that to you, have I? Like, Jesus.
No, you always keep that stuff behind his back, not like a good
Yeah.
friend. No,
Like,
I
teach
didn't
me
ever
all your
get crap
taco
for it.
recipes.
It was just the jokes that came in different from different groups.
Yeah.
So
think it'd
whoever I
be
was hanging out with, I was the opposite.
cool to, so almost like, I don't know if this will be able to be seen.
Let's see. Rex Doom says Spencer gets into thinking a lot, and he sounds like that girl from The Grudge, laughing my ass off. That's like that's how you know Spencer's working. Like he's
I'm
and by
thinking,
working I mean actively like functioning.
I can't think of like how to render it properly right now, but thinking of it almost like so you have your human head here. This is the top half of it, like your actor's head. In there, but we do some weird jaw work so the teeth actually are like aligned on the actor's jaw and everything. Down here, maybe it splits or something. That might be cool.
All right, say goodbye to Colin. He is off to play video games. Video games.
Take it easy, Colin. It's not going to be too crazy late one tonight or anything, but thank you for stopping by.
And he leaves us with some insights, which I'll read here for you. He says, "In our modern free-spoken society, there is a word that we still hold taboo, a word with a terrible history of being used to abuse, oppress, and subdue. Just 6 seemingly harmless letters, arranged in a way that will form a word with more power than the pieces of metal they are forged to make swords. A couple of G's, an R, and E, blah blah blah. Just 6 little letters all jumbled together have caused damage that we may never amend, and that's important that we all respect." Oh, geez, I was waiting for the punchline, Colin.
Yeah, he just set you up.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna make him say something serious.
It's like the real thing is the real word is Danzig.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for something like that. I'm like, here it comes, and then he's off just like that to go play video games.
So I was thinking almost like sort of human monstrous skull wrapped around the actor's actual head, but then the top of it almost opening up like a flaking beehive, if that makes sense.
You know, a flaking beehive. You flaking beehive.
But then maybe we do multiple eyes inside the skull, or no eyes and the head, the actor's head just looks like brains inside. Like just like a weird exposed cherry inside of the skull.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the chat.
Oh, I get it.
Yes, that joke was ginger, Ryan. LOL. I'm a racist. Yep. You got me, Rex.
Got it, ass.
After all these years of trying to get me.
Yeah. You got the Mexican guy. You couldn't even go for the guy who looks too white for the Aryan Brotherhood.
I signed up and they thought I was Jewish.
I gotta put that on my resume.
Yeah. That's the only thing on your business card. They're like, I thought you were a writer or something. You're like, yeah, but
but
I'm also this.
I'm also this. Too white for the Aryan. Is that a good thing? I don't know anymore.
Yeah, like, wait, does that make you more supreme?
Yeah, like that. Does that make sense?
Let's see. So that's peeling off the back?
No, off the top.
It's peeling off the top towards us.
From the front, you would see basically from like nose up past like forehead. Like you would see, and the top of the head and everything. So the top of the actor's head would be exposed up here, and the front where the eyes and everything would be right here, essentially. So you got eye 1, eye 2, brow ridge. So the actor would be able to see out of here, but then you make this area in here where the actor's top of the head is and everything. Like either look like organs or something like that, and like fleshy and gross, and then the outside all look like bone. Thinking something like that might be cool.
See, I'm starting to think. I'm thinking outside our possible capabilities without having to animate or go into CGI. But it would be so cool if all the eyes could turn differently. Like, so the head could be facing one way, and then maybe not even different directions, but just at different times. Like, say there's 4 of them, the head's facing one way, and then like one eye turns to the right, then the second eye, then the third eye, then the fourth.
Well, that wouldn't be so hard either. That would just be a matter like simple CGI like that. I'm not opposed to, but the biggest thing is if I'm gonna do CGI, it's because we've exhausted all options and we can't animate something like that manually. But we could potentially thread something and stagger something if we put a bunch of eyes in here. Where like when the actor turns their head, there's something threaded to whatever's in the eye optics, pulls down through here on their neck or something. So they have to turn their head to the right, but then it pulls the first eye first, and then the next one, and then the next one. Something like that.
I just didn't know how involved with the that kind of technical work you wanted to get involved with.
I mean, I'm getting real involved with all of it. I'm gonna be fucking pumping blood and all sorts of other shit. I thought for the fantasy one, it would be cool to do one of those wax melts too. So I was gonna do reverse really melt, cool. Whether it's full size or a miniature. But like, I thought it'd be cool. Like you just have like the fucking scenes of the hero wandering or whatever, and then for that moment where the monster appears, you just have it like reverse wax melt out of the ground. Form up into this gnarly thing, do the nice color correcting and everything, make it look really good, light it really good. I think it'll be fun. That's why, if I'm going to do something like that, I really need to nail down a final sketch, because then I can color it and everything, and I know like when I sculpt the wax version, like how to paint it and everything and light it, so when we do melt it, it all works cohesively, and we can match it to the actor in costume day of. Sorry.
No, no, no problem. Rex Zoom asked, "What is this for?" And I told him it's the second short that you want to film, but maybe you want to expand. But before you do, he says, "I see. Just throw everything together into one movie and call it a quote art film."
Yeah, right. This is a fantasy movie in the middle of the slasher flick. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, where these knights come from?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a couple different things over a long period of time. Uh, I'm ordering some stuff soon, and I think Beth is gonna help me do the bust of myself. So I have a plaster master of me that I can start doing like actual design work on top of. So say I do want to play like the final creature design for this, I can already start slapping together the clay and doing the sculpt for it. There's like the shit I like to do is like sculpting really gross gore effects and like ripped up shit. So it's like that's my bread and butter. That's why I'm like doing something like this where it's like, oh, well, like let's do all sorts of weird organic forms and get really gross with it. It'll be cool. And if I do a master for myself, I know it's gonna fit me perfectly. And then day of, little Jeff can come beat the shit out of me or whatever, whoever we end up using it for it. We should, if Kevin comes out, we should have Kevin play him because I think Kevin's the shortest. Plus, he just looks like Conquistador Conan the Barbarian, with his sweet fucking mustache and pointy goatee. That would be wicked badass. Oh, we're gonna do Goth Conan. It's just all I would love we do make it like an art film and we just get some awesome hair metal dude to like play guitar on set and he's like in the frame for all the shots. It's like Birdman with the jazz drums throughout the whole movie, except we have the guy in the shot for everything. It's just like two dudes sword fighting, and there's just a little guy shredding on electric guitar in the background. He's the electric bard. People are like, "What the fuck is this movie?"
It's an art film.
Yeah, like really shredding, like just lightning and shit in the background the whole time. We got to see how long Mitch can riff for on guitar because Mitch plays guitar. We could actually pull that off. We'll just get like an industrial fan and we'll set Mitch like way in the background, like the forced perspective they did in Lord of the Rings. So he just looks like a tiny little man. That would be amazing.
You ready to rock a little?
Yeah. Yeah. But we have him on frame shredding on like a lute, but then we dub in like just the gnarliest electric guitar for everything.
Yes. Yeah, that's the way to go. Rex Doom is loving this, by the way. This is all right up his alley.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, this would actually whoop ass. Like, I wonder if anybody's ever done that.
I like to think too, like Mitch is at work right now, and he just like his ears. He's like, "What's going? Something's happening. Yeah. Something's happening."
His ears are bleeding. What is going on?
Yeah, Rex Doom says you got to end each scene like that. The guy screams "art film," then plays a riff. Cut to the next scene.
Yeah, art film.
Damn it, that would actually work for me.
Right.
Because at first I'd be like, what is this, an art film? And as soon as they did that, I'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah. All right, they're listening.
Yeah. Oh, they know. This. They know.
Yeah, I like the idea of something hovering. Do something really weird. Cosmic. Maybe like a crescent moon floating above something, like a weird sorcerer. And that could be the multi-armed thing.
it could be something that, oh, see this. Never mind. That's not a good comic thing.
Or if we
Because
do a
again,
multi-arm thing, you make it statuesque and like the character coming up on it, the hero, and then it moves at the last second, and then you don't need the extra arms to move or anything. You could just have it like lean forward. And then you could do something like almost a cult, like the extra set of arms are like doing like the praying hands in the middle. So when it bends forward, they're still connected and stay locked together. And it just pivots on that one axis with the actor's like torso.
oh,
If that makes sense.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's also, you could shoot for something more ambitious and then fall back to something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like always have like a plan B and C.
Yeah,
I
but it's
do
a
like,
plan B that wouldn't look bad. Like it wouldn't look like a plan B on film. You know,
yeah, I
I think
like
that's a
the,
good
I'd
thought.
have to figure out if I can do something static. Like I like the idea of this weird mask and then like a floating orb, almost like a planet. It's like hovering above their head or something. Uh, it's weird baubles, but I'm like, it would have to be a cool paint job and look really cool. And also be on some sort of post or something or wire that isn't going to wiggle around. Um, or we just shoot it
Yeah,
like a
that's,
miniature and digitally comp it in after. It's still
see, if you're gonna do
prosthetic.
something digital, Rasmus says a bubble. If you're gonna do something digital, I would, if you're already going to that length, I would say do something cool um, like make it like a beating heart, like it's a silver orb that beats and then turns into a heart, like a bloody heart, and then turns back into an orb, or is there something
Well,
like,
that's what I was thinking. Is it's just something weird that's floating above it. I could sculpt something like a human heart and basically do one of those acrylic orbs, put the human heart in it, fill it with water so the heart is floating in there or oil or something.
Mhm.
You shoot that on a clean plate digitally, and then you shoot like the filled in just like orb version of the like a gold sphere or something like that, and then you digitally add them in post and you do some sort of effect where it blends like masks in between them, uh almost
Mhm.
like this thing turns clear and turns into the floating heart and then turns back into the solid gold orb. Uh, but I'd rather do that than do full like I'm going into Blender and I'm gonna model this orb and model all of this digitally and then light it digitally and everything. I'd rather light it practically and shoot it on a clean plate green screen or whatever and then drop it in digitally like that where everything is still technically like shot on screen. Nothing is like a render.
Yeah, everything has a practical base and
Yeah,
application
just like the old Star
on
Wars
film.
movies and everything. Like
Yeah.
there's if it's something weird, some sort of visual trickery, at the most it's some sort of miniature or something, or manipulation of the actual film. I want to be
Uh,
doing as very little actual digital effects as possible.
Razmat says, or a balloon. Yeah, balloon. People have used things like that for beating hearts, things like that. You could always do, even if it was just an orb that you wanted to change size, you could do the balloon. Something like that. Um, and Simonin says, like the phantasm spheres. Yeah, a little bit. I think he's thinking a little bit like that. Um, it's metal but organic, uh, cosmic but supernatural. Phantasm Sphere is always just a cool reference. it's
Yeah, right.
it's one of there's few things. It's like lightning bolts, skulls, and chrome spheres fall into my always cool category.
That's
They are
just the
just
big
perpetually cool.
thing is I just want to do shit that looks really cool. Like Jeff brought up that what was it, Kamen Rider,
Oh,
uh
wow.
Kamen Rider monsters. Oh, you might not have been here for this stream.
I try to avoid the Jeff ones as much as possible, so probably not.
Yeah, right. It's just shit that's like really just like innately visually interesting. This isn't it though. Like a famous episode of it. Yeah, this bitch. She was all like, this is the actual puppet of her, like rotoed cool. Out, but she was all like a prosthetic puppet. Let me see.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to pull off all kinds of cool prosthetic stuff. Yeah, it's so. I mean, I don't mean it's easy as in like, oh, we can do whatever we want in a day, but just everything, all the practical stuff is so affordable, and we can get our hands on it so easy these days. Just like 2D animation stuff, where it's like, you don't have to be a big studio to do this stuff anymore.
That's why I was like laughing today. I made that post about something, and Donald was like, prosthetics are like as expensive, if not more, than CGI. And I was like, oh man, this is like a huge misconception. The labor is more expensive when you're paying some gigantic studio that's overcharging because they know they can, and they can get that out of the budget. And that's what I mean again, is like give $250,000 to a really ambitious team of dudes that just want to make a really fucking good movie, and give them, a year or two's time to make that movie. And,
look what Corridor does each week. And I know their rapid fire stuff is actually less, it's smaller, it's lower resolution and things. I understand all of that, but still, look at what the Corridor crew does basically every week or every month.
If I could get a crew like that involved in something and be like, yeah, we're going to do something like actual prosthetics, but then I know we can do like gunshots and stuff when we need to, like that'd be absolutely wacky. But right now I want to do something that's like we can do it on screen and show people that it still can be done for not a lot of money by just being fucking creative. When you see the stuff people can do with cosplay now, and then you see movies and you're like, what the fuck, dude? When 90% of it is just good, it's costuming, lighting, and really good sound design. And the sound design is what really pulls it all together in the end. And my girlfriend fucking literally almost, I can't believe she didn't fucking go through with it, but she almost pivoted her degree and went into being a Foley engineer. But she spent like 2 semesters working on it, and she was like, oh, I used to like do this stuff, so Beth is probably going to be doing most of the Foley work on all of them now, which is huge because we have all the software and everything we need to do it. I'm just kind of like an idiot with that, so it was going to be another big learning process. But Beth was like immediately rattling off all sorts of ideas. It was like, yeah, I know how to do a bunch of this and like understand like the setup for how you're supposed to do it and everything. So it's like, if we can nail those 3 things, it'll all work out in the end. And having a good crew of people who actually want to make something is a big deal. I said that to Jerry earlier today. Is like that goes a very long way. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I want to be involved in cool shit, but they don't take the initiative and actually do anything when it comes down to it.
I like to think Beth uses her Foley skills to just mess with you too, where you're always like, oh, I think I hear Beth in the other room right now, or I think I hear she's up. She's just purposefully making noises so you think she's like, doing other things.
You hear water running?
She's like, yes, nailed it.
I remember
not even to any like end. Oh, go ahead, read it.
Putting out a ridiculous amount of full-length films in a year. Yeah, that's what happens though when you do something solid and people want to invest in you and see that they can make their money back. But that's my whole thing is like, who knows what this could turn into if we pull it off? And that's why I'm trying to take it very seriously and do something cool with it. Because it's like, if we can shoot a couple little shorts and turn it into, turn some heads, maybe make a little bit of money off of it, and do it for cheap, and genuinely make it look good, people will call us. It happens very often. Uh, so I'm
Well,
like, I'd
that's
even be
just
cool with settling for like, hey, I'm doing comics half the year, and the other half of the year I'm making weird shit for indie horror movies.
that's the kind of stuff I'd like to start expanding into. Obviously, that's why we're hanging out too, because we both want to do that kind of stuff. Um, Especially for me, just because like I've checked a lot of comic stuff off my list, where I still want to create and make comics and stuff like that. But there's other things that I want to step into now. Like I definitely want to get more into animation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out
Oh, dude,
how
if
to.
if if that like money came along someday, that's one of the first things. Like, we haven't talked about it much, but that's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, like we would have something animated going immediately. Uh, I would love for a fucking Cade animated movie. Gods and Gears, I feel like would make for just a murderous kids show. You'd basically be
Yep.
printing money with a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yep.
Uh,
No, and
yeah,
I already have. I already do have. No, I don't want to get. We don't have to talk about this because we're talking about other stuff right now. But I do have plans for taking our short story and doing an animated version of that using the actual panels as the basis to animate over, like
fuck
really
yeah,
simple, like they do with a lot of anime. And if I can get some funds together, I'd like to bring on like John Celestri as like animation supervisor. Like he doesn't have to
hell
do any
yeah.
actual animation, but just come in and direct us, guide us, make sure we're doing everything right, and then even hire like Pedro Ang to come in and help do some stuff
I
because he
almost I
kicks
almost
ass.
considered for the 24-hour comic changing up my story and doing a noir thing where I could just like narrate it afterwards and do like some light animation, because I thought that would be really fun. Uh, it's like something super Raymond Chandler. Uh, but my brain's been all over the place. Everybody keeps bringing up like retro futurism and stuff, and Barbarella kept coming up. So it's like, that would be really cool, but I'm sticking with what I originally decided on. Too late to change now. What is up, El Padrino?
El
I went
Padrino
back and
must have been over. Oh, go ahead.
watched some of him being awkward on Jimmy's show last night, and it was absolutely hilarious.
How they just left him hanging.
Could not stop laughing.
And he was center
Um,
screen too, so it kind of looked like, oh, he's supposed to be important. They're gonna highlight him.
yeah, it looked like he was in some sort of Zoom call, and all these other random people stumbled in out of nowhere. It
And they all
was
just happen to know each other.
Yeah,
They're like, whoa.
somehow two Zoom calls got crossed, and El Padrino was just like, "Wait, who are all you people?"
And I love those guys too. No, I'm not shit talking those guys. It was just
Oh yeah,
funny,
no.
funny circumstances.
Oh my god, and like that was the funniest thing, was like, it's like the Travolta in fucking Pulp Fiction, just like shrugging meme. Like Padrino is just like, I guess I'm just gonna like walk around and hang out. Like, uh, I could not stop laughing at it. And my girlfriend's like falling asleep next to me, like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, couldn't even explain it to you where it would like make any sense.
It'd be easier if I sent you, if I lined up these 60 YouTube videos for you to watch that you'll eventually catch up.
Yeah, let me explain the last 4 years to you. This is what you've been missing, girl.
Yeah, it was funny too watching Anna, Jimmy's girl, and she wasn't used to the joking around about like how handsome Johnny Cage is or how handsome Padrino is or something. So
Oh my god,
Jimmy
that had me
started doing
dying.
like a who's handsomer thing, and she was like, I don't think we should be doing this.
And Padrino just like chilling with his chin rested on his fists when they pulled all three of them into it. It was like, this kid is hilarious.
No, they were super funny. I think we're getting a couple people. Looks like Jimmy just stopped his stream, so it looks like we got a couple people jumping in from there.
Oh,
welcome, welcome.
Damn, dude, that's how bad YouTube is lately. I didn't even know Jimmy was streaming tonight.
Well, he does a lot of kind of random stuff too, so it's
I know whatever. He's like us and just sort of will pop him off whenever.
Oh no, looks like he's still going on. Okay.
But yeah, I'm like, I'm not getting notifications like at all lately.
No, I do not. No, he's over. Bancroft's still going on, and we are still rocking.
Rocking and rolling. I think Kevin said he's working till 11 your guys' time tonight. Like, he's fucking all day on Sundays.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which reminds me, since Kevin's going to be showing up and we're going to be starting some Patreon stuff, you guys don't have to answer tonight if you don't want to, you guys in the chat, but I'd kind of like to know for the Death Curse Patreon, I want to be doing some like extra art stuff over there.
Yes.
I have some ideas, but I want to know, what do you guys want to know from me? And it doesn't just have to be inking, because we can kind of keep inking stuff for, you know, if you got specific questions. You know what? No, it can be anything, because I'm not going to be doing a separate Patreon for my channel.
What things do you want from us?
So yeah, what do you want from us? What do you want from me? It's going to be realistic. I'm not going to overpromise. It's not going to be like, I have a Patreon inking course that'll be 5 days a week or anything like that.
It'll scale to how the Patreon is doing.
Yeah. And yes, exactly. Like, the better the Patreon does, obviously, the more we're going to do. But starting off, you know, for even the, what is it, $1 a month or whatever, I want to be able to have something that's good over there for you guys.
Engaging and somewhat interactive for everybody. I'll have to reach out and ask Mitch about that as well. I don't think he's in here tonight, but I'll ask him because he is one of our patrons already.
And we want to really start making that a special place to go.
Yeah, we're sort of
hang out, learn, have fun.
Got some things in the works for that for the new year and everything. I'll be posting better scans and stuff on my 24-hour comic and shit like that over there. Lots of sketch stuff and things for the short film will be going up there as we get closer and I lock more things in, including like actual costume build, test footage, stuff like that, whatever the fuck we come up with. As we get closer and closer to things, and you guys will be able to follow along the way, however much you want to, on here for free or over on the Patreon for a little bit of money a month, for a little bit more in-depth behind the scenes stuff. We'll hopefully have the tutorial stuff up and going early this coming year and everything. Me and Kevin have a couple ideas we've been cooking up for that.
Yeah, and I want to do some stuff that's like I've mentioned before, kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, fun, like Ink Like a Man kind of series that it isn't really something I could do on my like Fun All Ages channel. Like it's
for all the bitch-ass inkers out there.
Yeah, you know, it's like I want it to be a little goofier and a little more serious, and kind of fit the Death Curse vibe, you know.
Perfect.
Because I think that's one of the cool things is, you know, I listen to tons of like, you know, my favorite comedians podcasts, and
what's up, Rasmus?
You know, they all, a bunch of them have great shows, and I like listening to them. But then it would be awesome if they were like, okay, now we're going over to Patreon to discuss the process and work on stuff. And I was like, cool, that's kind of like what's cool about Death Curse, or what the potential we have for it and what we're working towards is like, hey, we're having fun talking shit, going through the internet, looking at dumb stuff, joking, riffing, but then we can also talk comics, and then we can shift over and like focus on the medium that connected us all, you know, and work on the craft of it. Yeah, and I think that's going to be a fun angle for all involved going forward
Bending
in
it like
2021.
Beckham. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
so many soccer balls and so
a
much tikka
lot,
masala.
a lot planned. That was too perfect. You love that movie. Oh yeah.
And a mukbang show, like Razman says. Well, we're gonna do cooking, and we're gonna do cooking and comics right.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that. We'll definitely have to do some sort of mukbang thing on the set. I put together tentative logos and stuff tonight for the roadmap, which I believe I had shown you.
I don't think I saw any roadmap.
I mean, it's not done. You just saw the logos.
Oh yes. Sorry, that kind of roadmap. I was thinking. Sorry, I'm
Like
reading the
a
chat, and I heard you
physical
say I
roadmap.
showed you the roadmap, and I thought you meant for the campsite. I was like, I didn't see that.
We have the Western Kayla's working on Hellseekers. Another Death Curse book that I've been putting together that I'll hopefully have a script wrapped for soon. Return to Camp Rainbow. The inevitable magazine launch, which I'm keeping a secret for now. I'll be showing this when the roadmap's done, but it's getting there. The magazine launch, which I think we're launching as an annual. We have a couple of guys who already have stories done and everything, so we're seeing about maybe paying those guys up front and having those posted on the Patreon before it goes to print and everything. So a little bit of extra content for the Patreon, so we'll see about that. I finished the logo for Marionettes, which I'm really excited about. That's going to be the sort of interactive serial killer story that I'm doing over on the Patreon this next year, which will be dropping with a solvable cipher mini game for you guys to play very soon. Girlfriend's been helping me out with that, and it's been really weird and fun. But really happy about how that logo came out. And then The Neighbors, which is another secret one I haven't really talked about at all. But
I think you should show the logos. It's just the logos.
yeah, you think so?
And you did talk about them all. You said them all. You
I
might
said,
as well show the logos.
I said half of them.
Oh, that's true. I know it.
Didn't say the actual names of them, but I will show them because I don't give a shit.
And they look good. It's a good teaser.
Yeah, I mean, they're rough because this is just a JPEG to share with you guys earlier today. I'm still working on them. And The Neighbors, obviously, you can't see because Dropbox sucks. But
I know, they're like, store your images with us, but make sure you don't have anything at the bottom of your image.
Yeah, and you don't have to see it ever anywhere. So officially, these aren't in order or anything like that. They don't have dates or any of the teams lined up with them or anything. That's when the roadmap is coming later down the road. But Crimson and Alabaster is the horror western that Kayla's writing with Mateus Villalaba on the art. Hellseekers with me and Vince Rush, which that's not the final logo. That was just something for the roadmap again. Some of these are sort of placeholders. Some of these are finalized logos. Slash TV is another one that we hadn't really talked about before this, but it is a slasher reality TV game show comic that Michael Odom is doing the art on, and it's going to be
so
a damn good time.
He's so good.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. He's kind of got like sort of an old school sort of Archie feel to his art, a real like fun cartoonist vibe, and I think it's going to pair well.
But it's got a touch of Robert Crumb.
That's the thing.
It's got this weird, like, you're like, hey, it's like Archie, but then it's got this like just this dark kind of twist to it. That's
what I mean. Is it's got this. It's like it's still cartooning, but like it's got a bit of the wholesomeness, but it's not like full tilt Archie. There still is that like that indie aesthetic to it, but I think that balances well with how ridiculous and over the top this story is. where Camp Rainbow is more of a I don't want to say like grounded and serious, but like a very a more serious slasher story with believable characters and stuff. Slash TV is meant to be like really fun and ridiculous and over the top, very grindy, uh, a throwaway popcorn flick sort of deal. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hideous is our little love letter to EC Comics and the annual horror magazine we're going to be doing. And we already have quite a few artists already lined up, like I said, with a couple of guys who are already done with some short stories that will hopefully be getting up on the Patreon in the new year. And, you know, be able to announce some of their names clearer. Voidwalker's just on there because we're going to be doing the giant and the collected edition eventually. Marionettes is what I was talking about before. That's the interactive sort of serial killer comic I'm going to be doing. That's a weird little format over on the Patreon. And you can follow along and help solve ciphers and potentially stop this serial killer and save some characters' lives. And then the neighbors, which I'm not going to get into. So leave that one a mystery for now.
See,
yeah.
that works. That worked.
Fun stuff.
Thank you for sharing those. Those are awesome. I know they wanted to see them, and it's not really a spoiler, so it's all good.
The Nabe whores. We already have our porno spoof.
All right, we'll be shooting that the same weekend at the campsite. We make our own porn parodies.
Oh, I see. What is up, William C? Welcome. What's up, girthy boys? Just girthin', bro. Oh my god. Chat just jumped so much. That's hilarious. As I was taught English by a British teacher, he would see me use a favorite instead of favorites and such. Oh god, that's the worst. Girthin' with my homies. My humor is getting lame. I'm becoming old as fuck. I'll be riding off into this. I've become my father.
My dad used to laugh at girthy jokes too.
Color instead of color. Well, that's because you're a bastard. Now I want the Neighbor Whores comic. There's a weird mouthful.
Now you're gonna adjust. You're like, I mean, it's called the Neighbor Whores. You're right.
Whoa, the highlighted comments look so smooth. Yeah, that was a Christmas miracle from StreamYard. They finally added some new branding options. Speaking of which, it keeps wiping away the banner. But January 1st at 8 p.m. EST, the 24-hour comic kicks off. I also have a British accent, right, Ryan? Actually, I don't think I heard Padrino talk in that entire video of him being on with Jimmy. I like scrubbed through a bunch of it. I don't think I ever heard Padrino actually talk.
He was like, "Hey Jimmy, won't you give me a few minutes to talk, please? I'm from Bolivia, Texas, girthy boy."
Jog on. That would have been fucking hysterical. Yeah, so that's
he has to do that next time. That's the call to arms is Padrino. Next time you're on Jimmy's show, you have to use an English accent.
Right, just your worst English accent you can come up with. So, yeah, that's the early look at the roadmap while I'm finishing it. It'll have more details and everything as it comes up. Closer target dates and things like that. Obviously, all of that is coming after the fulfillment of City of Rot. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Got a lot lined up, and the short film stuff will fall in there somewhere. Yeah.
William C. Yeah, trick him.
Oh, it's so bad too. The Patreon, I need to do a new post. The last one was in like mid-October because I've just been so busy catching up on shit. But I've been like sending Mitch is like our only other patron, so and my buddy Tony who I talk to like daily. But Mitch, I've been
Well,
updating in private, and the Patreon's getting a big overhaul in the new year. So
yeah, and we haven't been asking people to sign
yeah,
up yet. We just said it's there, and we've been asking people what they want. So it's not like
but soon we'll be
don't feel bad.
sucking
Don't
their
feel bad,
dicks
Spencer.
for it, just begging for it.
That's gross.
Please.
So gross. Simon says, funny story. I did have a
Sucking
neighbor
dick for
once.
patrons.
I'm
We're really
like
scraping the barrel here.
trying so hard to not think about that. I'm like, hey, look at the chat said words.
Pimping.
My first apartment, we had a neighbor that was a stripper, and she would put on shows for her
It's fun to watch.
roommate, and they didn't care that the blinds were open, and we were 20-year-olds that were just like, what?
That's called a cool neighbor. We've talked about tacos so much this week that when I go to the grocery store tomorrow, I'm getting fucking taco stuff.
What kind of tacos are you making?
Here's
Here's our cooking show, guys. We got 12 watchers now. We said we get 12 watching live. We'll start the cooking time.
I'm leaning towards just some real fucking spicy ground beef tacos. But Beth is really into like chicken tacos. I'll like slow like parboil chicken for a while and like basically shred it. Sometimes do it like carnitas style where you cook it a second time in the oven. You like put it on a tray and toss it in some more seasoning and I normally just do like orange juice or a little bit like orange juice, a little bit of lemon and lime, and you like broil that on a tray for like 2 minutes so the ends get a little bit crispy.
Nice.
It's real good. Same thing, you can do that with like pork and stuff. We live in a tiny apartment, so I have to get real creative with how I make Mexican food in here. A thing that normally fills like an entire house. Carnita is fatty. I know that.
No, that's a stripper name we're joking about.
Oh Jesus!
So you're saying carnita is a fatty? Yeah, I usually do the crock pot. I put in a bunch of stuff in the crock pot with a bunch of like chicken breasts or something like that, and then come back in a couple hours and shred it up and then let it go for a couple more hours.
That's like how I do the enchilada chicken usually. Slow cook all of that and shred it up like that, and then I just make shitloads of trays of enchiladas and bake them all. So fucking good. Because you got to do the like fresh fried corn tortillas. So you like fry them one by one really quick, pop them out, fucking roll them up, get real fat. I could probably eat like 4 trays of enchiladas on my own.
My family is not a corn tortilla family. They never were. Like I grew up, we just rarely ever did it. It was so funny. So my family owned a Mexican restaurant in LA in the 40s, from the late 40s to the 60s.
Yeah, how are you not run out of town?
So they were.
Oh my God.
No, they have all these recipes, everything, and none of them had corn tortillas. So like we have all these awesome homemade recipes, but I always wanted to go to my friend's house when their parents were doing the like ground beef with the seasoned taco pack and the ground, just the regular shells. And my mom was always like, that's like a downgrade from what you get. I'm like, yeah, but I never get them. They look so good. Like that's all I wanted as a kid was the corn taco with the ground beef and the cheap taco seasoning.
Oh man, nothing's better though than just like making your own corn tortillas. Especially like I really like hard shells, so like frying up your own hard shells are fucking amazing. The enchilada ones, like you just pan fry them soft. You're not like frying them hard, so they're like crispy afterwards. you're basically frying them enough so they're not like raw corn anymore. And then you just, you throw the spoonful of chicken and green chilies and cheese in there, spread it out, roll them up, and you keep making the trays of them. I'm like getting horny for enchiladas right now. I could walk you through this whole thing with my eyes closed. That's the kind of shit we're gonna be eating on set. We will really have to do. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not tired. We really will have to do like a mukbang stream though from the location if we have service. That'll be wacky. Wheat tortillas are also good, but it's more Tex-Mex. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a wheat tortilla taco.
I can't do it. My mom was even a health food nut, and even she was like, "Well, no, we're not going to do wheat tortillas. I mean, come on." She'd make us eat
We're
like
not
7-grain
Tommies.
bread, but when it came to the Mexican food, she's like, "Yeah, I mean, come on."
That's the big thing too. Was my mom grew
Goddamn
up in like
Californians.
Orange County, which is like big on like the weird like Tex-Mex bastardized like fusion Mexican where you can like you can get really good Mexican there still, but there's also like shit that is like deviated into such strange places from Mexican. Is really weird. Like there's very few places around here that are like legit just straight up Mexican food now too. And I tell buddies that they're always like, "Oh, there's a like great new Mexican place. Let's go check it out." And we go to it. And I'm like, "This is just like a Tex-Mex place, guys." Like,
there's way too much mango here.
Yeah. And explaining to all my extremely white friends, just like me, that queso isn't like an actual like Mexican thing.
I mean,
it's like
Mexicans
how like Chinese
it.
food is around here. I was like, yeah, it's become popular with some Mexican people, but I was like, if you went down to Mexico, that's not like a thing like rip roaring all over the place, and it's definitely not what you're getting up here when you order queso.
Yeah, and the California Mexican food's good because we didn't bring it. It was already here. So
Yeah.
it didn't have to get imported. Like the first time I went to New York, people were like, "Oh, we know you're picky about your Mexican food. We're gonna take you to the best places," and they were horrible. They were like, "Here's our beans." I was like, "Well, where's your refried beans?" They were like, "Well, we do black beans." I'm like, "Well, that's fine. Where's your beans?" They're like, "Well, here's our black beans." I'm like, "All right, black beans are okay, but come on." And then the black beans were the worst black beans ever. The corn tortillas everything was just so bad. And there's a couple good places now in Manhattan. I can't think of what they're called.
That's the terrible thing though too, is like places in Manhattan and everything are like where the like the freshest, and it's like the most like flavorless vegetables you can imagine. They're fair trade black beans.
Yeah.
Nobody got murdered for that. There's not a gram of fat in any of this food.
Yeah, Rex Doom says no refried beans.
It's not meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to be paid for and absorbent prices. It's wacky. That's like the one thing I hate about going up to the city, especially after they closed down one of the like Gray's Papaya locations. This is years ago now, but one of the last times I went up there, they had closed down one of the Gray's Papaya locations, and I like thought I was gonna have like a meltdown. So it's like one of the like last bastions of like a good place to go get like some great New York food and not completely demolish your wallet, and it's just a fucking hot dog. Basically a dirty water dog.
Yep, that was on my list. I was very happy with that. I went there.
Oh man, the papaya juice is the best. That beats the shit out of the hot dogs, but the hot dogs are still good.
No, it's totally worth it. It was a bit of a hassle, but it was totally worth it. And it's funny too. There are things where like people are like, "Oh, did you go to the Statue of Liberty?" I'm like, "No, I went to the papaya dog." Right? I had more important things to do than look at the stupid statue.
I got a hot dog from a place that has just been making hot dogs for like 100 years. I went to a Mexican place near the border in some tiny little place in Texas. It looked like it was in the middle of an abandoned amusement park. The food was amazing. That sounds amazing.
That's all.
That's
Anywhere that looks shady that has carne asada, go get the carne asada.
I was just about to say
It
those are
will be
normally
delicious.
the best places. If it looks like a good place to get shot or stabbed, it's probably a good place to eat as well. It's just always be cautious and on the lookout.
Yeah. Anywhere with
but
stacks of tiny plastic cups filled with red taco sauce is going to be good.
But don't be a bitch, man. Don't miss out on life because something looks sketchy. That's where all the cool shit happens. Yeah.
That's where I've had the most fun and gotten the most exercise running away from things.
Yeah, right. You find good food and strange people. It's the best. I don't know whether
just make sure you eat first.
I don't know whether to end it or have another drink. It's only midnight.
Well, you did say 10 till midnight. We did just finish with a good round.
I have plenty more to do. But yeah, it's probably a good time to call it. Is there actually something here?
And if anybody got any questions?
Yeah, anybody got any questions or anything else
before
we wrap it up? I think this is a good time to end it. I don't think Kayla is popping in tonight. She seems to have had a pretty rough holiday with all the drinking and family shenanigans. Yeah, I'll probably be back again tomorrow for another day stream. Get some more inking done because I said I was going to do that tonight, but I wanted to fuck around with some ideas. Start sourcing things. Maybe get Kevin to help me out with all this shit I've got to do. He's really good at fantasy stuff.
He'll have an answer for the floating head thing too, or the thing floating above the head.
Yeah, because that would almost be cool too, to do like some sort of face or something. Like the
second face.
Yeah, like the theater masks and stuff. Something like that, or multiple faces. Who fucking knows, man?
Simenon says la carne asada at Mercado Principal in Taxco is amazing.
Yeah, I'm just getting hungry now.
Yeah, 9 o'clock here. Everywhere's closed. I'll have to do something. I'll have to cook up something myself.
Oh yeah, it's Sunday. I was like, what the fuck? Everything's closed at 9 o'clock in California? That sounds wrong.
Oh yeah, no, especially in Orange County. Everything closes early,
and
especially
it's like
the city
winter
I'm in. Yeah. Oh, and it's COVID time, whatever. So they're like, close everything.
It's a COVID winter. Shut it down. Yeah. But I'll be back tomorrow. I've got some work to do on short film stuff and comics and things while my brain's still working, and I should probably make something to fucking eat. I've been to Taxco before. Played a haunted Street Fighter game there. What a weird one to end on. Gotta love it. Take it easy, dudes.
Fill us in next time on that for sure.
Yeah, right.
And yes, get ready for the first Simenon. Everyone get ready. Think about what you want from us on the Patreon in the new year. I don't know what else.
Yeah, that's about it.
Hammerella City of Rot are in demand. Links in the bio. And take a look at the Snogans Family Fund going on as well.
Hell yes. And we'll see you guys later.